And when Buddha gave the teaching, Buddha gave these teachings to different disciples at different places. Sometimes
Buda deu estes
even
ensinamentos
by one voice
em
of Buddha
diferentes sítios.
can give teachings of Triyanas
E
at the same time to different followers at different places. So one voice can give teachings to different followers at different places in different languages also, and also in different topics, in different subjects. So this is one of the quality of Lord Buddha. So Buddha gave enormous amount of teachings, and then later the great scholars who are followers of the Buddha, they gathered together and they compiled the Buddha's teachings. So then we have this Buddha's teaching in Tibetan. We say Gangyuru. At the moment in Tibetan language, and there are about 100 volumes. So this is the Dharma teaching. So generally, what is the real Dharma? Actually, the Dharma, the word Dharma is a Sanskrit word. Sometimes they're called Dharam, right? In Sanskrit, they're called Dharam. And this word actually has 10 different meanings depending on different contexts. As it is clearly said by the great Acharya Vasubandhu that the word Dharma has 10 different meanings. But here, when we say Dharma, it refers to the Buddha Dharma, which is one of the three precious jewels or one of the triple gems. So this Dharma is sacred and secret, and it's profound and precious. So what is the real Dharma? Some people might think just attend a big Dharma event without any focus on the actual words and meaning of the Dharma, just attending that event, that Dharma event as their own Dharma practice. But this is not the real Dharma practice. Dharma, to practice Dharma, first and foremost, it is important to know what is the meaning of Dharma, what it really means. Without knowing the meaning, without understanding it, then it is difficult. It is not possible to practice the real Dharma. And also, when we receive Dharma or practice Dharma, it is important to have the right motivation. If we do Dharma practice without the right motivation, then still we are not practicing the real Dharma. So in ancient time, there's one great master, and he gave advice to another person. At that time, the another person is doing some kind of Dharma practice. And then at that time, he said, the master said, you should practice Dharma. Then he thought the one that he's practicing is not the real Dharma. Then he did another kind of Dharma practice. Then again, the master said, you should practice Dharma. Then again, he changed and he did another kind of Dharma practice. Then again, the master said the same thing. You should practice Dharma. Actually, I don't remember exactly what type of practice that he did in doing these three different times. But anyway, it means just doing prostration does not consider as a Dharma practice. Just by reading Dharma books does not consider as a Dharma practice. Just by doing meditation or retreat or doing sadhana does not considered as a Dharma practice. The real Dharma practice should come from our own mind, should come from our mind, should come through developing the right motivation. Without developing the right motivation, no matter whatever you practice, how profound it is, it won't be a real Dharma practice. So to do Dharma practice, first it is important to have the right Dharma to practice. But only that is not enough. Even though the one that you are going to practice is a real Dharma, genuine Dharma, but if you do the practice improperly, without knowing the meaning, or after knowing it, if you do with distraction, without visualization, without concentration, then still it is not real Dharma. Although the text is the genuine text, genuine Dharma text, but the way you practice, the way you do the practice is not a real Dharma practice. And also, even though the text is real Dharma, and the way you practice physically and verbally is genuine, but at the same time, if you don't have the right motivation, if you don't have the right intention, then still it is not a real Dharma practice. As the great Arya Manjushri, who is the embodiment of all the Buddha's wisdom, when he gave 4 lines of teaching to the great Sachen Kunga Nyingbo, who is the main master in the 5 founding masters of the Sakya tradition. In the first line, it clearly says, if you have attachment to this life, you are not a spiritual person. So, therefore, physical and verbal Dharma practice will not determine whether you are doing the real Dharma practice or not. Only your motivation, only your right motivation will determine your practice as a real Dharma practice. No one else can determine your practice as a real Dharma practice.
Ninguém pode terminar a vossa prática enquanto terminar a prática do Dharma. Peço desculpa, mas eu tenho problemas com o áudio.
Practice Dharma.
Quando praticamos o Dharma,
we should know why we are practicing Dharma.
Porque é que estamos a
What
praticar
is
o
the
Dharma?
purpose of practicing Dharma?
Qual é o propósito de praticar o Dharma?
Without knowing the real purpose
Sem sabermos o
practicing
verdadeiro
Dharma,
propósito para
you
praticar
just
o Dharma,
follow others' way of doing it.
apenas
If you
seguindo
just
os
follow
outros
others' Dharma
do que estão a
practice,
fazer,
then
então
it is not genuine Dharma practice. So it is important to know what is the real purpose and what is the worldly purpose of doing Dharma, or one is doing without any purpose. So some might do without any purpose, just by following others' way of doing it. Then some do have purpose, but their purpose of doing the Dharma practice is worldly purpose. So sometimes some of the worldly purpose looks very positive, looks good, look like a Dharma practice, but they are not a real Dharma practice. They are not a real Dharma practice because those are not the real purpose of Dharma. For example, if I study the Dharma
юуг одоо жинхэнэ
so
ном
many
гэж үзэх
years
үү? За юуг одоо ном биш
by
гэж үзэх
having
вэ
the intention
гэдгийг
to
бид одоо
keep
ялгах
teaching
хэрэгтэй.
the Dharma, keep teaching Dharma, to
Eine
teach Dharma
Beweggründe,
to
weshalb du
others
praktizierst.
far and wide, to different places, to different people, to spread the Dharma. If my intention is to spread the Dharma, and by making the awareness of Dharma meaning to others who are living in different places in the world, so that looks good, that looks positive, that looks right purpose. But
Зөв зорилгоор
if you think carefully,
номыг
just having this kind of
ёстой юм.
intention is
Тэгэхээр
not
бид
right.
ямар одоо
So what
зорилгоор
I'm
номыг
saying
үлдэж байна,
is,
ямар зорилгоор одоо
unless and until
ном
we
сонсож
have
одоо бусад үлэг
the
үлдэж
total
байна
renunciation,
харах ёстой. Тэгэхээр бид аливаа
unless and
номыг
until we
үлдэхдээ
have total renunciation, the loving kindness and compassion to all the beings, and bodhicitta, if you don't have these positive thoughts, then no matter whatever intention that we have, still these intentions cannot make our practice as a real Dharma practice. Although you might think, I want to do Dharma practice to help others. Practicing Dharma in order to help others, in order to benefit sentient beings, in order to serve the sentient beings is very good. But just by having this kind of intention, we can't say this is the right intention, this is the right motivation. Because we can have such intention by thinking, I want to help my community, which means 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, etc. Or I want to help the people who are following the Buddha Dharma, who are following the Buddha's teaching. With such intention, if we practice Dharma, if we try to spread the Dharma, then still it is not the genuine Dharma practice, because in this intention, still we are not extending our loving kindness and compassion to all the sentient beings. We are just focusing the followers of the Buddha. Followers of the Buddha are sentient beings, but they are not all the sentient beings. There's a big difference between all the sentient beings and all the Buddhist followers.
Há uma grande diferença
All the
entre os
Buddhist
seguidores do Buda
followers
e os seus discípulos.
Lesser in number compared to all the sentient
Os
beings.
seguidores do
When we
Buda
say all the
são
Buddhist
menos
followers,
do que
or all the Buddhists, or
propriamente
all
os
the
seus
Buddhist
discípulos.
followers, then we are talking about millions and millions. We are not talking about countless. But when we say all the sentient beings, not only it includes all the people, all the humans in this world. Now the number is increasing. Now we are almost having like 8 billion, much more than 7 billion. So all the sentient beings not only refers to the human beings in the world, but it also includes all the animals who are on the earth or who are in the water or elsewhere. And then also it includes all the beings who are in the other realms or in other places are different from this world. Also, in short, all the sentient beings means all the beings of the 6 realms in the samsara are included when we say all the sentient beings. So there's a big difference. We can say all the Buddhist followers is like a 1%. And when we say all the sentient beings is like 100% or like 1000%. So there's a big difference in number between all the Buddhists and all the sentient beings. So just by focusing on all the Buddhists with such focus, with such intention, if we try to practice Dharma, then it is not right. Because at that time, we don't have the right intention. To have the right intention,
Para termos a
you must have the
motivação
wish to
correta,
benefit all the sentient beings, not only all the Buddhists or not only all the people in our school or in our community. That is like thinking about narrow-minded. That is, such thinking is not right. So we should have the right purpose. Right purpose is not just to preserve our school. This is my school. This is my religion. I want to preserve my religion. If we study and practice and then spread the Dharma with this kind of clinging that this is my religion, then this kind of thinking can base on selfish thought. Not only for myself, but if we have this my religion, my school, my Dharma, then this is also, I think, based on selfish thought or self-cherishing thought. So whatever practice that we do, whatever activities that we do, which are based on selfish thought, then it is not right. It cannot be right. It won't be a real Dharma practice. So therefore, when we practice like receiving teaching, studying the teaching, contemplating or meditating on the teaching, etc., whatever Dharma activities that we do, we should always do with the right motivation, not on the basis of selfish thought. Whatever practice that we do, which is based on selfish thought, then such activities are not the genuine Dharma practice. It will never become a real Dharma practice if our practice is based on selfish thought or self-cherishing thought. So, and therefore, it is important for us to know what is the right purpose of doing the Dharma practice. Dharma practice means receiving teaching, studying teaching, contemplating, meditation, etc. There are different kinds of Dharma practices. So it is important to know the right purpose, which is to have the right motivation, or which is to do the practice for the sake of all the sentient beings without any discrimination, without any exception. At the moment, in our mind, in our mental continuum, we have very strong negative thoughts. And because of that, we have biased thought or discriminative thoughts. And these thoughts are the main obstacle for our Dharma practice. As long as we have discriminated thoughts, as long as we have biased thoughts, it is not possible to have the genuine and infinite loving kindness and compassion, because loving kindness and compassion thoughts are based on without having any discriminated thoughts. So these two are opposite to each other. One is discriminated thought, one is the opposite one. So these two are opposite to each other. So as long as we have bias or discriminated thoughts, we don't have the genuine loving kindness and compassion. So therefore, at the moment, it is not possible for us to have genuine motivation or loving kindness and compassion all the time, like 24 hours a day. It is not possible. But first, starting from a short period of time, like few moments or few minutes, and then try to extend or try to make it longer and longer, then finally we can do the practice, or we can have the right motivation 24 hours in a day, and also not only one day, but we can do it for many days, and then later we can do it slowly we can do it all the time. So this is practice. Dharma practice is actually mental practice. The real practice should come from the mind, and the mind can improve. Our mind can improve. There's no real limit. We can improve a lot. So for example, if there's 1,000% to improve, maybe at the moment we only have 1%. Then from 1% we can improve up to 1,000% or more than that. We can improve more than 1,000%. We can. There's lots of room for improvement. But if Dharma practice is merely referring to a physical practice, then we cannot improve much. It is not possible to improve limitless. There's a limit to improve. We can't improve so much. For example, like the runners, the sprinters in the sports. At the moment, nowadays, like 100-meter runners, they can run under 10 seconds. But no matter how much they practice, no matter how much they train, it is not possible for any of them to run under 8 seconds. It is not possible. And also like long jump, they can jump certain meters, but they cannot jump from one mountain to mountain or etc. Physical improvement has limit. There's limitation for the physical improvement. But Dharma practice is not just physical practice. The main thing is mental practice. So there's no limits. We can improve a lot. We can't finish all the improvements in one lifetime. We have to improve life after life, life after life. Then finally we can attain to Buddhahood. When we attain to Buddhahood, then it means our quality of the mind becomes infinite. We have attained the limitless quality. We have attained the quality like a sky or like a space. So the space has no limits. Similarly, we will have limitless qualities, just like a space. So, therefore, it is very important
Por isso é
to
muito
know
importante saber
what is the real Dharma.
qual é o
Dharma
verdadeiro Dharma.
is a method that can transform ordinary sentient
Dharma.
beings into Buddha, that can transform a person with lots of negative thoughts and actions into a being, into an excellent being who don't have any obscurations, who has all the ultimate qualities, who has all the infinite qualities. And once you gain these qualities, you can have this forever. You won't fall down. You won't reverse it from that state. Once you attain Buddhahood, you will have the attainment forever. And also, Dharma practice can be practiced through our body, through our speech, and through our mind. But main thing is our mind. Like now, I'm giving this talk, I'm giving this teaching. And if I have intention to gain more fame, to gain more followers, then my intention is not right. Although what I'm saying is the truth, although what I'm saying is according to the Dharma, but due to my own worldly intention, I am not practicing Dharma right now if I don't have the right motivation. So whether one is practicing Dharma through studying, through contemplation, or through teaching, etc., depends on your own motivation. Like just now, it looks like I'm doing good thing. I'm giving teaching. I'm trying to teach Dharma according to the Buddha's teaching. But just by this, one cannot determine that I'm doing Dharma practice. Only my mind, my intention, my motivation can determine whether I'm doing Dharma practice or not at this moment, at this time. So therefore, although we have three kinds of actions, of like physical actions, verbal actions, and mental actions, but the real Dharma practice should come from our mind. And generally speaking, our mind is more powerful than any other, because mind is like the boss, and body and speech are the ones that are like working under this boss called mind. So we should always think the real Dharma practice should come from the mind, not just from physical and verbal actions. And also, when we say Dharma, some people might think Dharma books are Dharma, or teachings are Dharma. Yes, these are considered as a Dharma books or Dharma teachings are Dharma, but these are the one that can help us to gain the real Dharma. The real Dharma is the realization. The real Dharma is the inner quality. That's the main Dharma, the real Dharma. Although teachings are Dharma, but having received so many teachings without any impact on our mind, without any change in our mind, without any improvement in our mind, without having any inner qualities in our mind, then such teachings is not effective. Such teachings cannot make us a real Dharma practitioner. So therefore, it is important to know the real Dharma practice should come from our own mind, through our own right motivation. So if our mind is pure, if our mind has the right motivation, then due to this, we can also have genuine Dharma practice from our body and speech. For example, if the root of the tree is medicine, then all the others that grows from this root can be medicinal. So similarly, if our mind is pure, if we have the right motivation, then whatever actions that are motivated by this motivation are also known as positive actions or Dharma practice. And if our mind is not pure, if our mind is impure, if our mind is sealed by the worldly intention, then no matter whatever practice that we do, it is not real Dharma. We can call it a superficial Dharma. It looks like real Dharma practice, but it is not the real one. So main thing is our mind. This mind is very powerful. Our mind is something that we cannot find in any size or any shape or any color. Yet, this is very powerful. Due to mind, we have past lives and future lives. We have past life and future lives not because of our present body, not just because of our present body, not just because of our present speech, because of our mind, because our mind will continue. This present body will dispose at the end of this life in one way or another. But this mind cannot be disposed as we dispose our own body. So this mind continues. Although this mind is changing momentarily, but the continuum of this mind continues unceasingly from life after life, from life to life. It will continue and it never stops. So this mind is one that makes the connection between past and present, and between present and future. And our Dharma practice is based on past, present, and future lives. If we does not believe in this past, present, and future life, then we cannot become a real Buddhist. We cannot become a real follower of Lord Buddha, because Lord Buddha's Dharma teaching is based on law of karma. If we do good actions, then we will have good results. If we do bad actions, then we will have bad results. So Lord Buddha's teachings are based on karma, based on law of action. And this law of action is based on the rebirth, or based on past, present, and future lives. If you only accept one life, only this present life, then we cannot accept the complete law of action. We can only accept part of the law of action, not complete law of action. So therefore, it is important to believe in this. Believing in this means we should believe in this with reason, not without any reason. Not just because Buddha said this, then we should believe. No, there is a logical reason behind this. As I said before, this the mind, because of the mind, we have this connection between past and present and future. Because this moment does not cease, it continues all the time. Although it changed momentarily, but the continuum of this mind continues all the time without any break. And this mind cannot be generated through any other cause and conditions or through any other substances. We cannot generate mind through external factors. We cannot generate the mind only through the external factors, only through external substances. It is not possible to generate or to develop the mind. The cause of the mind is the previous mind itself. The present moment of the mind is caused by the previous moment of the mind, etc. So anyway, through such reasons, we can believe in the mental continuum that never ceased. With logical reason, we can believe in this. And wherever we go, wherever we are, we should try to control our mind. We should be vigilant. We should have the alertness all the time. This is also very important. Dharma practice doesn't mean we should practice Dharma only when we are in the temple or when we are in front of masters or when we are doing the sadhanas or when we are doing the practice. Not only that, wherever you are, whenever you should always practice Dharma. Even when you are doing activities, your worldly activities in your home or at your workplace or anywhere, try to control your own mind. Try not to get angry. Try to control your mind and not letting your mind to get angry. That itself is the practice of Dharma if you do with right motivation. So this is how we implement the Dharma in our daily life. And also, sometimes one might say, I'm practicing Dharma because I'm doing all these practices or all these sadhanas, and I have recited so many mantras, and I have received teachings for so many years, and I have so many great gurus as our own guru. So I have done so much, so many good things in my own life. But only this is not enough. We should try to practice. We should try to implement the teachings in our life. So not only during this time we should practice, not only that, but even during like post teaching session, post sadhana session, etc. During this time also, we should practice Dharma by having the practice of tolerance, and also some might control the negative speech during the practice. It is not difficult to control the negative speech or negative physical actions during the teaching or during the prayers, etc. But it is not so easy to control these when we are doing other things, when we are doing worldly things. So like when we are at workplace or when we are with family members, etc. So at that time also, it is important to control our mind. So that's why it is important to have vigilant and alertness all the time. And in our daily life, try to do positive actions as much as possible. Always try to remember what we should do and what we should not do, or what is to be adopted and what is to be abandoned. We should know this all the time, try to remember this, and not only try to remember this, but also try to implement this kind of teaching in our daily life. So main thing is to practice. If you don't practice, if you don't implement, then there's not much use. For example, if a person learns how to cook food for months and years from a great chef, but if that person does not really cook or does not really eat the food, then what is the point of learning how to cook for so many months and years? The purpose of learning how to cook is to make the food and eat the food by ourselves and by others. If no one eats the food, then why we have to learn how to cook? There's no point. So similarly, studying Dharma is like learning how to cook. Then eating Dharma is like, eating food is like really experiencing the Dharma through the practice, really experiencing the Dharma. So therefore, practice is very important. After studying, based on moral conduct and based on right motivation, we should study and contemplate. And after that, it is very important to meditate. It is very important to practice in our daily life. So if we really practice the Dharma, then there's a great benefit, not only in the future lives, but also in our present life. If a two person face same challenges, same problems, same pressure, but one who knows Dharma can handle it much better than the other one who does not have the practice of Dharma. So genuine Dharma practitioners, they know the whole world is in the nature of suffering. So normally they don't have sad feeling, or they don't have very kind of excitement feeling. Even they win a $1 million lottery, their mind will not be excited, or even they lost $1 million, they won't feel sad, because they know this is the nature of the samsara. Winning and losing is part of the life, it's part of the samsara, not something that is beyond the samsara. It's within the samsara, within this world. So the real practitioners, they don't have these kind of worldly feelings. When we won the $1 million lottery, we feel so happy When we lost $1 million, we feel so sad. But these feelings are there for worldly people, not for real, genuine Dharma practitioners. I won't say I'm also a genuine practitioner because I also have lots of worldly thoughts, but those who are really Dharma practitioners, who are genuine Dharma practitioners, they don't have this kind of worldly feelings. Even they win or lost $1 million, it is same for them. There's one sutra. In that sutra, there's one prayer. In that prayer, it says, for example, this is Buddha's teaching in the sutra. It says, for example, a young girl in her dream, she delivered a baby. She had a child, and when she delivered a baby, she feels happy. And then in her dream, this baby or child dies, and then she feels sad. So when we have the baby, when she has the baby, she feels happy. When she lost the baby, she feels sad. Both are in the dreams. So similarly, we should know all the phenomena are like this, like a dream. There's no point of feeling so happy when we win like so much money, etc. And also there's no point of feeling so sad by losing so much money, etc. Because we should know all are like a dream. But anyway, yeah, no matter how much money that we have, money cannot buy Dharma. Money cannot buy Dharma practice. Money cannot buy immortal life. No matter how rich you are, at the end, one has to die. Money cannot buy immortal life. And also, money cannot help our future life. All the money or all our belongings that we have in our present life, we need to leave all this behind. When we go to the next life, we can't carry all this. Not a single penny. Not only that, even we cannot bring our own body that we have since the conception of our body until we die. That body also need to leave behind. And only the mind, the mental continuum, need to go to next life. So actually it is important to know that, for example, when we say my family, my house, my temple, my monastery, or my nunnery, etc., we should think that I can only say this for next few decades, like next 30, 40, 50 years. I cannot say this for next 200 years. No one can say this. No one can own a house or monastery or car for 200 years or 30, 200 years, because our life is not that long. Then how can we own a house or monastery for 200 years or 300 years or so? That is not possible. So when we do actions, we might think these things will be owned by myself for forever or something like that. And because of that kind of thinking, we have more clinging, we have more grasping thoughts towards these things. But if we think these are temporary, these are not permanent, because we ourselves is not permanent, we ourselves is impermanent. by knowing this, or by knowing we can save my family or my temple or etc. for next few decades, then with this kind of thinking, it helps us to reduce our attachment, to reduce our clinging, because 30, 40 years is not long. If you think carefully, generally our life is short. 80, 90 years is also not so long. I think when we are young, we feel the years are so long, but when we are getting older, the year pass by very quick. Time goes very fast. Time flies. So next 30, 40, 50 years is not so long if you think carefully. So we should think these are temporary. So with such intention, by thinking all these are like a dream, then thinking that we are living in a dream and nothing is truly existent, with such understanding, if we try to have the right motivation and then try to practice Buddha Dharma from our body, speech, and mind as much as possible, then it will be great beneficial to us, and also we can influence others to be on the right track, on the right path, on the path to attain the liberation and the enlightenment state. So main thing is to have positive mind. Some people might think by changing the physical place, one can solve the problems, one can have a better life. Of course, by moving from backward to a developed country or developed place, one can solve some basic problems like bad electricity or bad water system or bad road or like that. But these are not the only problems that we face in our life. Even we are in the developed countries, we still have, although we might not have the problems of electricity or water, etc., but we have many other problems that we face. Physically, it is challenging. Mentally, also, it's very challenging to live in a developed countries. And also, in developed countries also, there are many people who commit suicide. So that clearly shows just by living in a developed country, it doesn't give us the real and genuine happiness. The real happiness should come from our mind. So in order to have a better life, better future, or better results in the future, then we must change our mind. Not only we change the physical place, but also the main thing is to change our mind, our mental attitude. We should change from negative to positive. We should transform our negative mind into positive mind. And if we can change this, then that is the real method. And if you do this with the practice of Dharma, because Dharma has the ultimate or the real positive mind. The real positive mind is none other than Dharma practice. So through this Dharma practice, we should try to extend this, and we should try to follow this all the time, whenever or wherever we are, whether we are with the family or whether we are with friends or in workplace or with spending time with colleagues, etc. Wherever we are, try to control our mind, try to be a good person, try to be, have a positive mind, and try not to criticize verbally, try not to criticize, try not to use harsh words, try not to use bad words, and physically try to be polite and not rude, and also mentally try not to have short-tempered, try not to show your anger to your family or to others. Actually, anger is always bad. Anger is always the enemy of our Dharma practice. Anger is always the enemy of our peace and harmony and happiness. So therefore, we should always have the intention to defeat our own enemy, which is our anger. Anger is not elsewhere. Our anger is within ourselves, within our mind. It's not separate from our mind. So our mind is important to control. If you don't control it, then many negative thoughts will rise, and due to this, then it makes problems to us and also problem to others. So therefore, it is very, very important to control our mind at any time, anywhere. So through this, we can implement the Dharma practice if you do it with the right motivation. So if we continue to do this, then we can be free from the samsara in general and specifically from the two lower realms, and we can attain the liberation and enlightenment state for the sake of all the sentient beings. So with this, I will conclude my today's talk, and whatever matters that we have earned through this, we should dedicate all these merits along with all the others to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all the sentient beings. And also we should dedicate all our merits for our root gurus, long life, good health, and turn the wheel of Dharma far and wide always. So with this, I will do the dedication prayer and the long life prayer. Sonam de tamje sebanye tamne nyebe danam pamjane kyaga na chiemba lon chuba ye sebe tsole ndowa ndolo sho jambalan ba chedara kyamba kondo sambo tayan te shende tada genge jeso dalom jenge wan de namje ram dongo tesma shebe gyala tamje ge ngawa khala chado ngawa Dage Gavan Tawan Degan Jan Sambo Chechirabdo Ngorange Chancho Chonwe Jaba Chonjaraban Kedaban Jata Yanso Kame Kanri and Tadara Damba Sanzaba Saja Baye Damba Barkulaji Kanjan Peke Dava Dorje and Balden Sage Chesi Gavat Dogan Donge Genja Mechan Quinjan Tinlan Kanyan Bada So Balden Zaya Lama Rembonja, Bagi Jora Beme Denshane, Guardian Chambia Guane, Jason, the Poson Tokyo, Modum Saldo, Solo, Kanre, Rave, Corve, Shinkamsum, Pendon, the Wama, Chungwen, Jede Sewan, Denden, Gazoyi, Shabe, Sede, Pardon, Denkilo, and Chime, Misha, Sonia, Kokana, Chime, Tejan, Lamon, Jendama, Chime, Tala, One, Tonan. Chime Chaya Moduba Doldo Solari Sombe Me Toki Alame Kende Nederan So Nimucha Sadan Londo Betala Gedan Doldo Linshe Gando Dadan Solan Awan Gidol Soli Kangedon Dugan Gada Tejan Dong Alam Pendia Baldo Bare Tinleja Sambela Wange Galbo Shabdan Solo Namda Timdan Serge Sashela Tasum Gombe Chando Mount Cheta Tondan Jedan Parimge Gamjo Wan Tumbo Densho Solo and Galan Niba Jedan Komang and Galdan Chide Ninja Tamashe Galam San Samolusha Gala Chishan and the Shabdan Solom Penzo and Galte Dingia Tashi Balabaldan Sage Chese Balvarn and Nezo Domlin Debe Ganto Chishan Sansaman Dorja Dadan Solo Lamia Lama Chosma Tujada Idam denson yada dodam dan chinya saman girman den be te chidara salwe de dan dum jara inje chambalan bawe babe de jan sayang jan game chido bambe che tembe chanara semya thong jan be te jan che yen ma so sha solo chambe ba ke te ya sa jan me me ni je yao dan bo de te sa ge kan do dao dan ke be plan nam den che we zo gan so sha solo che jan guan do na ja qing yan so xiang wang de su me ke ko ro mo de 青年用着我的在写给他的送上的吧，朝小做了创业，脑袋慢慢给身边，那什么听见那边刚到朝天呢，这边有啥块点个没写到这，确定头发了嘛，再这少了嘛老要弄。今天正阳蓬勃要挖了出面的，这这点怕把的，归些的上朝给面包按照了，工作人家送给青浪当，刚说高月特当的吧。 交流点点，咱们也是说国家人选，听的解决了这了嘛，光看嘛上了，说了的超多国家人了，说了的听了他先给了，说了的，那么的老面把它请给了吧，国家人我现在单把当等等年的现在说了他年的能够得不了吃吧。 但是太讲谈的人的来说，等把这单公司全把当，等把你也选择少了当的，等把了跟等听吧，等把一人那边但是说等边帮助了那面下边等给别说等用了，等边见到我当就把给等把一人那边但是说没给那么能给推荐到路面工作送给听了呢，就算他们人家这那都也就是们全省这边他是说。
Your Holiness, on behalf of Sakya Kandeling, and if I may, on behalf of other centers in Europe, especially Sakya centers, we'd like to express our gratitude, and we apologize deeply about the technical problems that we had it, and we are quite lucky that the DUT, however, was able to solve some of those. At some point, we thought that the virus has entered in our Zoom, but however, we were able to do, and we're very, very thankful. We would like to apologize also to the members of audience who were not able to have in the beginning some of the translation that we have promised. And we hope to improve, as life is always an improvement. Your Holiness, may you live a long and healthy life, and hope to see you in Europe in the coming year. Thank you so much for taking this time for us today. Thank you. So to all the audience, really, we apologize for this. I think I haven't prepared it nicely, but thank you so much for keeping things intact and making it as good as possible. And all of the translators very, very and deeply apologize. And thank you that you really try to keep calm and make it possible as good as you could do so. We hope to improve our facilities in the future, and may you all stay safe and enjoy a good health. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, also from my side, sorry for the technical problem. It's not easy, but I will improve definitely. And thank you all for your help. Also, yeah, sorry for sometimes the hectic. Yeah, but rerouting all the languages I had to do parallel, and so I could not catch up with each and everything. Thank you.
Thank you.